Yo, welcome to You This Is Me. So today my guest at this time is Mario Launder with this crazy ass cup. So hey Mario, how you been, bro?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, man. Good. You know, obviously I got to talk to you a little bit before we started with this and catch up a little bit. But besides that, what you been up to?
Dude, just being a platoon sergeant.
Awesome.
Infantry platoon sergeant. Infantry unit leader.
Unit leader, right?
Yeah, here at 3-4, 29 Palms.
How you liking it?
Dude, it sucks.
Wow, man, I love 29 Palms.
Dude, it's 190 degrees.
I love the heat. I love it out here.
I mean, it's good for things, but not for living life.
True. The training out here, kill it.
Dude, these guys are warriors. Yeah, they in the same things we wore. They just do it in 110-degree heat every day, every week.
Awesome. Besides that, what else you been up to, man?
Not much, man. If you can see on right there, man, I'm getting ready for MSG school, so hoping to be done deploying for a little bit and go take a break with the fam. Maybe not a break, but at least something different.
Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah.
How's the family doing? How's everything?
Dude, they're good. I sent them home for the summer, so they're hanging out in Wisconsin.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You gonna go see them anytime soon or after school?
No, I flew home with them, hung out with them for a couple weeks, and then Julie's coming here on Saturday. On Friday.
Julie's your wife?
Yeah, Julie's my wife. She's coming here on Friday. We're gonna hang out. She leaves Monday, and then I go to school the next week.
Okay, spend some time before now.
Yeah.
Cool. You excited for school?
No, man. I'm not excited for school. I'm excited for the new opportunity. I'm not excited. I don't like the whole uniforms have to be
The process.
this and this and this. But once I'm there, I'm there, and it'll be good. I'll succeed.
Obviously, man, you just continue going. You're a freaking killer, dude. Too. In my point of view, you're a killer. You're still moving forward. A lot of us have gone out. Obviously,
Yeah.
some of them are still in, as you can tell yourself.
Yeah.
And you're still doing good things, man. Obviously, I got to hear some of your stories, some of your videos, some of your pictures, and they're amazing. Honestly, bro, I miss it from hearing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great time, to be honest.
It is. It's a good time still. I mean, it's like everything. It's got its ups and downs.
Cool. Think it brings Phil sandbags?
Dude, I wish.
What do you mean?
I mean, when we go to the field, we get like 7 sandbags. What do I
Get
need?
past it or what?
What do I need sandbags for?
Anything you want to do, though.
Like building up a fucking parapet, but not even because I use the dirt from the ground. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
On deployment, we had some sandbags, but it was like supplementary positions, not like how we had sandbags.
I got you, man. That's why I had to ask. Obviously, man. And obviously, some trades don't have to continue going. But yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, pre-military, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where'd you go from?
Dude, so I was born in Mexico, which I don't tell people. When people ask where I come from or what race I am,
Okay.
I tell them I'm American because that's what I am, and it makes people really angry.
Why is that?
So like, because I'm brown, people will come up to me and talk Spanish to me, right? And like, I don't know any Spanish. So I look at them just like, yeah, man, I don't speak Spanish. And they'll say things like, well, where are you from? What are you? I'll tell them I'm American. And I was adopted, right? So they'll ask me things like, well, where are your parents from? Like, well, Jim is from Milwaukee, and Betsy is from like New Hampshire or Connecticut. And I'll be like, yeah, but where are their parents from? I'm like, well, my grandparents are from Milwaukee, and my other grandparents are also from New Hampshire, Connecticut, that area. And I just look completely confused, like, well, where's the brown skin coming from?
Good tan.
But I don't ever go into it. And I hold that, so like, I'll get a new lieutenant and they'll ask me where I'm from. I'm like, Wisconsin. And they'll dig a little bit deeper. No, I'm American, sir. American. So I was born in Mexico, got adopted, moved to Wisconsin.
Okay. What part of Wisconsin?
Madison.
Madison.
Yeah.
What'd you do in Wisconsin? Down in Madison.
Dude, I played soccer. My dad's a soccer coach, so I played soccer. Cool. Went to school, hung out, didn't do anything too different than what I imagine most American kids do. You just live life, play soccer, go to school. Yeah.
Any other sports at all?
No, man.
Just soccer?
Just soccer.
You say you're not Mexican?
Dude, I'm American, and that's it.
Dude, I know Spanish and I don't even play soccer. Come on now. Cool, brother, man. So what made you join the Marines or join the service?
Dude, right after high school, I I played soccer, and I had aspirations to go professional. And maybe there was a point where like I could have, right? But I was like, I was drinking underage, and just not doing the things I was supposed to. So my soccer skills, everything went way downhill. I stopped focusing on soccer, and I got a job at a gas station, right? And actually, it was like a job, but I didn't take it seriously. Like the lady thought that I was in the guard, and so anytime I wanted to not work, I'd be like, "Sorry, I got the guard," and she's like, "Oh, Mario, all right." And so I didn't have to work that day.
Okay.
Anyway, I was working, and I worked a little bit like a block down from a Marine Corps recruiting station, and I still remember the recruiter came in. He was in his Deltas, and I was like, "Oh, you're Marine? Oh, I'm thinking about the service because I wanted to be a Navy SEAL at one point."
Okay.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, I am. I'm a Marine. We're stationed right down there. If you want to come talk at any time." I was like, "Nah, I want to be a Navy SEAL." And he's like, "Yeah, you probably wouldn't make it." And I was like, "What? Yeah, I will." And then I was like, "What makes you say that?" He's like, "Well, because I'm a Marine, and you probably wouldn't be a Marine either. You probably wouldn't make it." Which is like a challenge. Like, no, fuck you, dude. I'm gonna make it. Anyway, like two weeks later, I go in and I'm talking to him. He tells me I can be the SWAT team of the Marine Corps. I'm like, all right. As it kept going, he's like, I can one up you. How would you like to guard the president? And I was like, me? Guard the president? Dude, I'm all over that. Turns out you have to be a certain height and a certain build to guard the president, so I ended up at Fast Company.
Okay.
But that's where, that's how I got in. He told me I couldn't be a Marine.
So Navy SEALs first, huh? What happened?
The Marine Corps recruiter came in and told me I couldn't be a Marine.
Okay. So what made you want to chase the Navy SEALs first?
You know what? I think it was the challenge, man. It was something completely different than what I was used to. I think it was like the glory of it, the challenge of it. I had read several books that were about Navy SEALs. That it was like one of the hardest things in the world to do is be a Navy SEAL. I'm glad I didn't go that route. Now, I think there's times where I kick myself. Man, I should have gone in the Navy. But the truth is, like, if I had gone Navy, I'd probably be scraping paint off a ship.
How are you swimming?
I'm good at swimming.
Like cold water?
I don't mind it.
Like the ocean?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
The ocean, I don't want to do it.
Dude, I always think like sharks. Like sharks. But the truth is, like, how many Navy SEALs have you heard of that got eaten by sharks? None. But I would be the one that gets eaten by a shark. I don't have much luck.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I think it stems from just the ability to challenge myself. I thought like, hey, if I'm not going to be a professional soccer player, I might as well go and try to do something that's way harder. Lo and behold, this recruiter came in and straight up just shit all over that by challenging me and telling me I couldn't be a Marine.
Gotcha. So
Joke's on him.
how long did it take you from the moment that you started talking to the recruiter to the point that you got to the match and to the debug?
It was like, I mean, I did the DAP, so it was like 6 months. But because of soccer, I was in such good shape that if I didn't show up to the PT events, like my recruiter didn't really care. And honestly, man, like the only reason I actually committed was because one day he called me. He's like, "Hey, man, if you want to go to boot camp tomorrow and you want to guard the president, you need to go to boot camp tomorrow." And now I know it's probably because somebody dropped out and wasn't going to show up. But back then I was like, "Babe, sorry, I got to go. I got to go now if I want to guard the president." I didn't guard the president. I've never been near the president.
You've been with Julie since then too?
Dude, yeah, I met her in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. It's awesome.
Yeah, I went to military school.
Okay.
She went to a school right down the street, like a city away, not even, probably 10 minutes away from the military school I went to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So you go to the depot, which depot did you go to? Did you go to San Diego or did you go to Curacao?
I went to San Diego.
San Diego, okay.
Yeah, it was good times.
Okay.
Dude, I got thrashed.
Really?
Yeah, I was the cocky, you know how I am, I have a mouth.
You don't say.
I was cocky and I was physically capable, so, you know, like, getting IT for me wasn't like, oh, the end of the world and enough to shut me up. I didn't like it. It was the worst. But no, man, boot camp wasn't the hardest, and I made a lot of good friends. One of them's still fighting out here right now. He got out and then came back in as a Mustang. He's over at Tanks.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool to see that.
That's cool, man. That's cool. So after boot camp, you go to SOI, obviously, or did you go home or?
I mean, 10 days, but
Okay,
then I went to SOI.
Then
Yeah.
SOI, did you go West Coast or East Coast?
West Coast.
West Coast. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Then after that, that's when you got sent to your school.
No, so after that I went to security for I'm a BSG, basic
Okay.
security guard. Dude, the easiest school
Really?
in the Marine Corps. Yeah, they just teach you basic things like how to stand post, and how to report a post, and interior purposes of the interior guard, and
Okay.
it's harder now
Okay.
than it was then, but back it was like a check in the box.
So it's just more in depth than what they already taught us in boot camp.
Yeah, honestly, man, I can't think of a time where I was like, man, this is a hard school. I've been through hard schools. That was cake. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, from the moments that I've known you, the time length that I've known you, I don't think I've ever seen you struggle with anything, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't show it.
That works.
If I'm dying, I'm probably dying less than somebody else, so we're
Okay.
focusing on somebody else.
Gotcha.
But I'm only pretending that I'm not dying so that guy gets picked on and not dying.
Smart man, dude.
Hey.
Cool, man. Cool. So you were there. After there, you got transferred to any units?
Yeah, so after BSG, I went over to Fast Company, and I was in 3rd Platoon, so 3F4. I can't remember how it went. 3F4. So it was 4th Platoon and 3rd Fast Company, I think is how it is. Now it's Alpha Bravo Charlie Fast,
Okay.
but back then it was like 3rd Fast, 4th Platoon. I deployed to Bahrain, I deployed to Cuba, and it was generally a pretty decent experience. I mean, I wasn't deploying with an infantry unit, and the training we got, well, difficult, only lasted until like Thursday,
Okay.
and then we went on Libo.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that?
Yeah. I mean, so I married Julie as well while I was at Fast Company. The first couple of weeks I was there, and she moved in with me.
Okay.
Nothing crazy there. It was a tame unit with tame deployments and pretty good times.
After that unit, where did you go?
Then I went to 1-1.
How was that?
Dude, insignificant. Not because it was a bad unit, but because it was like a holding spot. Like it was temporary. They were slotted for Afghanistan. I mean, obviously I didn't have a choice. I was at 1-1. A lot of my buddies were there. A lot of my buddies went to 2-1. It was a place. I mean, it was difficult. I mean, I was a Lance Corporal coming in from Fastwell. They were on deployment. They came back from deployment, still holding that team leader billet. Not my favorite unit, but I'll tell you that like I met some really good people there, and I'm still friends with several of them.
Okay.
Rob came with me. He was over there with me, Hanson. And yeah, it was an interim place where the minute I realized I couldn't deploy with them, it was on to greener pastures. Yeah.
I'm just trying to find a way out.
Not necessarily, it was like, oh shit, they got changed from Afghanistan to a MU.
Okay.
I don't make the MU. What other options are there for me?
Okay.
I'm not doing this whole workup and going on shit we're extending.
Gotcha.
And then that's when Rob was like, oh, I'm going over to 3-5. I got orders from the monitor. Here's his number. Call him. I was like, nah, man, I can't go. He's like, no, man, I can't go over by myself. You gotta come. I was like, nah, man, I don't want to go. And he's like, yeah, you have to go. I'm telling you, you have to go. I'm like, all right, man, I'll go. So I called the monitor. because they were going to Afghanistan and went over to 3-5.
Okay.
Where I met you.
Well, I wasn't there yet. I was in school. I think I met one of your friends, Chris Schreiner.
Schreiner. Yeah, good dude.
Yeah,
I
very
like
good
him
dude.
a lot, man.
He took care of me in school. We were in the same platoon in school.
Yeah.
Did a lot together.
Yeah.
We always competed with each other, always running together, always everything. He kept me on pace.
Yeah.
I was in school with 2 other guys from our unit at the time.
Yeah, Johnson.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Payne.
Payne,
Yep.
yeah.
And yeah, we were all there doing everything. And I remember Schreiner, Chris, he actually came the night we were deploying.
Yeah.
He gave me his Oakley glasses that I still have.
No shit.
Yeah, he goes, I don't think I'll ever see combat, but I hope these glasses do. I told him, I'm sorry because your glasses broke in an ID explosion. I'm gonna apologize. He goes, dude, at least they saw combat and I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a good dude, man. Very, very good dude.
No, man, I love Chris. He's an awesome dude.
Cool.
Definitely a positive influence for sure.
Nice. After 3-5, what'd you do?
After 3-5, I went back to fast company. Oh, I'm sorry. After 3-5, yeah. So I did the Afghan deployment, then I went on the MEU, and then I went back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where I was a guide and a guide. Yeah, I think I was a guide with both platoons that I deployed with.
Okay.
And then I picked up meritorious staff sergeant and got sent to 17.
Okay.
17 was nice. I mean, I love 17. Met some awesome fucking dudes. Met some dudes that are like in the Marine Corps. You meet like people and they're insignificant. They're important at the time, but insignificant in the schema of life. You know what I mean? I'll tell you that 17. For what it's worth, I met some people that I'm pretty sure will be lifelong friends. Probably one of my favorite units for sure. And then didn't have time to deploy with 17. Oh, so I went to Iraq with 17 TQ. Awesome deployment. It gave me a real solid appreciation of what like the boys went through in Iraq, dude. So like my deployment skate, we went into Habanera a couple times, like nothing. Like the heat sucked, but I can't imagine having patrolled through the cities, do that like in Iraq. Like how? It was so fucking hot. Good on them.
I used to do it with the flight suit. I smelled like tortillas.
Yeah.
It was bad as well.
It was such an eye-opening thing. Like Afghan was hard, you know what I mean? But it was a different hard. There was heat for sure, but not that kind of heat. You know what I mean?
It's like dry heat, and sometimes you get that muggy kind of swampy heat.
the humid.
Yeah. But it wasn't like your Japan type, like or like Florida type freaking.
No,
It was very
different.
Yeah.
No, I gained like I said, we didn't patrol like the dudes did in the day. We were mostly mounted. We got to get out. I mean, most of my experience with the heat was like when I was running outside for PT.
Okay.
Cush deployment with a badass chow hall, awesome time. But I could definitely appreciate with the heat, like how miserable I was PTing, and how that transposed into like, dude, I'm miserable PTing, and I'm not patrolling through any of the stagnant cities where there's fucking dead bodies all over the ground. And dude, I gained so much more respect for the dudes that were there. But also I was with a couple guys that had been at TQ in that area. And they, it was kind of cool listening to like, yeah, man, we used to come here. This is like our break, and then we'd push back out and patrol. I'm sitting here like just loving life. It was a little bit surreal, but yeah. After 17, I went back. We got back to the States. I didn't have time to deploy again with 17 because I got orders to MSG.
Okay.
So I got pushed over to 3-4, which is where I'm at right now. And then we just got back from Afghanistan in April. Well, I got back from Afghanistan in April.
Okay.
They got a little bit later. Now I'm here waiting to go to school. Just prepping.
Nice. Any of those units, any of your favorite units at all? Or which one would be your favorite unit? You would pick one?
Dude, obviously I'm always partial to 3-5. But outside of 3-5, dude, I have 17, and honestly, man, and I'm very surprised by it, like 3-4. Yeah, it's been an awesome time here at 3-4. And like the staff sergeant corps in 17 for me is is what I hold staff sergeants, like the standard for staff sergeants. And staff and COs, man, like, I love the staff over at 1-7, but like the Marines and everybody I've worked with at 3-4 now gave me just a solid appreciation of what Marines are capable of now.
That's awesome.
Especially in some of the situations that these guys were put in.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's great to hear, dude. Great to hear. Well,
Yeah.
what do you think is next after this?
Dude, I'm hoping to get MSG, man. I'm hoping to get somewhere like really remote where my kids can see that life isn't all Wi-Fi and Fortnite.
Gotcha.
Life is for every other country is a little bit less than what it is here, and I'm hoping to get some appreciation. So I'm hoping like Peru or dude, just somewhere that's a little bit less fortunate than us.
Teach them something different. Show
Yeah.
them something.
Experience something, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, as long as I'm hanging out with the family,
That's awesome.
it doesn't matter.
As long as you are happy, safe, and everything.
Yeah,
That's good.
I prefer somewhere a little bit more or less developed, but I'll take a German. You know, I'll take a Spain. I'll take a nice ass country as well. You know, it doesn't bother me.
Who wouldn't, man? I got you, man. I got you. Honestly, sounds good, man. Awesome. So, I do have two questions I wanted to ask you. I don't know if you're cool with answering them. The first one is if you have ever used any training that you've experienced or captured along your way in the Marine Corps in real life scenarios.
Yeah, man, for sure. I think anytime you go to a school and you learn something new, you find a way to apply it. So whether, for me, whether it was like combat hunter, right? So like on my first deployment to Afghanistan, didn't use combat hunter because I never went through the course.
Gotcha.
Afterwards, I went through the course, and then I went through the advanced course, and then I did the T3 course, and then I did a profiling course on top of that. So I went through all of those combat hunter courses, and then I didn't really use it too much until this last deployment, where suddenly like everything that we did was based on profiling. Everything we did was based on, hey, that individual is doing something out of the ordinary. How can I get him to sort of show his cards? What can I do that's out of his baseline to show that I know what he's doing and prevent the inevitable attack, the inevitable insider attack.
Okay.
So, I mean, yes, I've used my training in all sorts of situations. The squad leader training, so I went to Islik. Dude, that was a slay fest. I had, he's a gunner now, Gunner Earhart. He was my gunner over at 1-7.
Earhart was my instructor. He was my squad instructor.
DBAP, you know what I mean? Like, don't be a pussy. That guy fucking ran me into the dirt, ran us all into the dirt.
Big ass white boy.
Just fun. I learned so much from that course that it sort of like, man, I wish I had taken that course before I went to Afghan. You know what I mean? I would have been so much more proficient in everything I did. But yeah, after that, I went on the MEU and I used everything I learned from from the planning process to how to apply my squad and how to maneuver and how to report and all of that. In this last iteration, I mean, obviously I've been through a whole bunch of other schools that sort of tie into everything. So every time you go to school, you apply it to the last thing you knew. But I think honestly, for me, the most beneficial has been IULC. Dude, I struggled. That was a hard course. I struggled. But the amount that I learned at that school, I was able to translate into everything we did on this deployment. And my last one, whether it was weapons employment, how to employ a weapon, how to ensure that our rocket positions were right, how to make sure that our security posture was correct. When we did mounted operations, how to make sure that we were using the right weapons with the right threats that we might have encountered. Where to position certain individuals. Really, meaning like every single school I've gone to and every single thing I've done has sort of been utilized as a stepping stone for the next thing. if that makes sense.
That is.
So is like maybe proficient in certain things, which I used on the next deployment. You know, Combat Hunter made me proficient in certain things, which benefited me on that next deployment. And it's just been onward. And even so, as I learn new skills, it's like the basic fundamentals of boot camp and SOI. You know what I mean? At SOI, you learn basic things: how to throw a grenade, right? How to use your marksmanship. Obviously, I've adjusted some things in fast company, like how to shoot and how to progress into shooting and how to train Marines to shoot. So I was fortunate enough to be a guide under several staff sergeants that allowed me to train the Marines sort of outside of their experience level, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So they were very proficient in several things, but it just happened that like I was able to sort of create training plans and execute them as long as it matched what they wanted. So they basically were like, hey, Staff Sergeant, you got this. Or at that point, Sergeant, you got this. Go ahead and make the plan and then you execute it. Which, awesome. Like they did a lot of work and I was able to sort of fill in the training gaps. But because of that, I learned several things, man. In the Marine Corps, like we all want to do the fancy shooting. The problem is that like the fundamentals aren't built. We learn basic shooting, but we don't learn how to employ that, right? The Marines want to do 9 holes, which is that fancy step thing, right? But they can't do a 15-meter engagement and get a tight group. Their groups are enormous, right? So I was able in fast company to learn how to train Marines so that their groups are really tight. I went through schools, AUC, Advanced Urban Combat. I went through several deployments where I was able to plan ranges, run ranges, execute ranges. So fast company was one of those things that like freed me up to learn how to train Marines. And I think that's one of the things that benefited most through the Marine Corps is the ability to create a range, plan a range, and then execute the range. And that was all based on leadership. Obviously, nobody's experience is the same, and I just happened to luck out where my experience was that my leadership allowed me to do all of that. Which translated into this last deployment where, dude, I got to plan all these awesome ranges and tailor them to the mission, which I wasn't. If I had thought about it, like I wouldn't have ever been able to do if it wasn't for fast company, right? The fact that I could tailor ranges at fast company allowed me to get creative on this deployment, where I was able to take. So one of the ranges that I really like briefing is I was able to take my Marine social media. I was able to pull all their pictures off of their like embarrassing pictures of them, and I was able to put them on the friendly targets, right?
Okay.
So I made several lanes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Made several lanes,
Yeah.
and each lane was a different scenario that was based around the fact that you might have to shoot not toward friendlies or over friendlies, but through them almost, right? Like there's an enemy, like an insider threat. Was the idea was that I'm the shooter. There's an enemy threat across the room, and across the room there's 1, 2, and maybe possibly a third person that I have to be able to engage. How am I going to be able to do it? So I was able to put friendly faces. They're stupid faces with like cami paint from boot camp, or like duck faces that they were putting up, and I was able to do that. And there was only one angle that they could shoot at from, and they had to figure out real quick how to do it.
Okay.
And when they shot, if they missed, they were hitting their boy, and it sort of drove that point home. Like, shit, I just shot Mott, or shit, I just shot Warren. Well, if you had taken your time and breathed a little bit and got the fundamentals just right, you would have hit the only shot you had, which was a headshot on the enemy, right? And I was able to tailor that. So I mean, that all stems from experiencing coming up and training, but that was specific for the mission that we had this deployment. Whereas for like in Afghan, it would have been, I would have focused it on like maneuver, right? Base of fire, and then a maneuver. That just wasn't the case in this deployment, which was pretty cool in the fact that I got to plan it, train it, and I was able to execute and let these Marines sort of feel that like training isn't straightforward. You need to tailor training to left and right depending on what the mission is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So based on these experiences that you have had, have there been any scenarios or experiences themselves that have made you view or see the world in any other way, like in a good light or bad?
Yeah, I think every single deployment I learned something new about myself, right? So this deployment, it was challenging in the sense that there were times where I was very frustrated that I wasn't patrolling. There were times I was very frustrated that my Marines weren't getting the point that like this isn't 2010. Last deployment in Iraq, I was very frustrated that we were held to Al Taqayyum Air Base. Like we couldn't do much more than that. There's nothing that happened. We were a base inside a base, and like very tame and frustrated with that. But I think for me, obviously, as you know, I think our deployment to Afghanistan was probably the biggest life changer for me. I've only been in another situation on this deployment where things got hairy, and it was one time. And yeah, I mean, it was definitely like, oh shit, like that guy's getting shot at, fuck. But 2010, man, like it opened my eyes up a lot, dude. I think it was the reason that I re-enlisted, right? I remember Croc, right? He was a Crotch.
Okay.
Croc Moley.
Gotcha.
He came out, right? He was at Inkerman, and he made a patrol specifically for me to re-enlist, right? And you know how it was, like, if you had to patrol at any time outside of like why you had to, like, it was a big fucking deal.
Yes. And
And the reason he patrolled from Inkerman to Transformer was to get me my fucking re-enlistment papers. My re-enlistment papers say FOB Transformer or PV Transformers.
Really?
Which is fucking cool.
That is
Dude,
awesome.
That's one of the coolest things for me. But the fact that he traveled that distance, like, dude, I wouldn't have fucking done it. Right? That, like, no. What? You ask, you want me to take re-enlistment papers to a Marine fucking 3 clicks away? Well, how was it, like 2 clicks?
I can't remember.
It was far as
Very
fuck.
far, yeah.
In Afghanistan, so that Marine can re-enlist and get a fucking bonus. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
But I remember he one of our bunkers. Remember we had bunkers.
Yes.
He pulls me in. He's like, "I need you to sign this." And I was like, "What is it?" Because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know that they were coming out. He's like, "It's your fucking re-enlistment paper, bitch." It's cool. Fuck. And I signed it. And then I remember him grabbing me by the chest and just throwing me back against the sandbag, and he's like, "Bitch, if you don't make a fucking impact, I'll fucking kill you." It's like, God. But you know what? Like, I was intimidated, but not really. I thought it was more like a joking thing. But like looking back on it now, like he patrolled through, say, in Afghanistan to get me re-enlistment papers, right? Like, how fucking crazy is that? So, you know, that sort of kicked it off. But, you know, looking back on saying, dude, I was not who I am today. You know what I mean? I am today because of saying it. So, by that, like, you know how I was at ITX, right? Like, dude, I was a corporal or lance corporal at the end of ITX, a corporal. Dude, I thought I knew everything. You know, I went through fast company. I thought I was extremely proficient. Did I know how to call a fire mission? Yeah, I knew how to call it. Could I do it? No, and it was proven. You know what I mean? Did I know how to call a 9-line? Yeah, I knew how to do it. Could I do it? No, and that was proven. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things that, like, I got back from deployment and I realized, shit, the faults that I had on deployment are because of my humility. Like, I was not a humble person. I could have been better if I had realized, like, I need to learn. I need to understand that, like, deployment is deployment. I'm not as good as I think I am. Everything I learn is not just to say I learned it. There is an application for everything I learned, which I didn't understand before Afghanistan. And by the time we got to Afghanistan, it's too fucking late. Dude, I remember one time, this is the same day that we're on the tabletop. I don't know if you remember, I'm on the rooftop. You and Rob came across. This is the day we got a random sniper fire.
Okay.
And you and Rob were running across. I'm sitting on the top.
Okay.
I don't, the same day that we got the mortars dropped on me.
Okay. I remember that.
Over there, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm on top, and I'm with Lieutenant Donnelly, right? And you guys are flanking, and Sotellio's pushing a little bit deeper into this row building that leads to a tree line. And there's a point where I lose sight of Sotello, and I'm support by fire, so I can no longer affect anything because he's getting too deep, and the only field of fire I had was like at a tree line, and I couldn't see anything anyway. And Lieutenant Donnelly comes up to me, he's like, "Hey Launder, what's going through your mind right now?" I'm sitting there like, "Well, Payne Squad, I think is over there, and I think you guys were just on standby for Sotello for React," which, like now thinking about it, it's like, why wasn't I there? Why did they have to call another fucking squad, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking that, right? I know why. It's because I'm sitting up there fucking useless. He's like, "Well, why are they over there? What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm providing support by fire, sir." He's like, "You're providing support by fire, right? Can you support anything right now?" I'm sitting looking around, like I see the flat field over here with the tree line over here. I can't know the exact direction. I'm looking overhead of where they are. I can't shoot in that direction because it's overhead. And I'm looking to the right, and I can't shoot in that direction. I'm like, "Well, I guess I can." He's like, "Right, so what should you do?" Like blank, right? Completely blank. I had no idea. I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. What do you think, sir? What do you recommend?" And he's like, "Well, why don't you call Sergeant Sotello up and tell him you can't affect and see what he recommends. I bet he'll tell you to move." Sure enough, I was like, "Hey, I forgot what squad were we? Whatever squad we were." I was like, "Hey, I can't support you anymore." Awkward. I need God me to do next. And he's like, "Hey, yeah, go ahead and push fucking blah blah blah." So then I got up and pushed my team that way. But the fact that like I'm sitting up there, clueless as fuck. Lieutenant Donnelly's telling me what to do, and we're in Afghanistan where like people are shooting at us. Dude, it was just a wake-up call. Like, oh shit. Maybe I'm not who I think I am, right? Maybe I'm not the guy, and I came from security forces, and that I think was for me like the driving point home. Like everybody hates security forces. Why? Because of that. We all think we're the shit. We all thought I thought I was the shit. I thought I knew everything.
You're one of the first to ever admit that, actually.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, it was so humbling to like a lieutenant telling me, "All right, man, what do you do next?" I don't know. Or the first time I had to call for fire. I'm sitting there like just stumbling. I didn't know. It took me like 20 minutes to get a round out. You know what I mean? Like I knew how to.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to though. Like if you sat me down that week and were like, "Hey, how do you call for fire?" I'd pull out my notes and be like, "Well, I have these steps."
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to do it. I would have had to pull out my book, which I didn't have, and fucking go through it. So instead Sharon, I think? Sharon's like, "All right, man, what's your location?" And I'm not even kidding straight up. I was like, "I'm 300 meters southwest of building, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "No, I need your grid." Dude, I pull out a GRG, and I'm like, "Oh," because GRGs don't have all the grids. They just have
Two numbers or three numbers or whatever.
Dude, it's a 3-digit grid, so it's a 6-digit grid. No, 4-digit grids. So I'm sitting there trying to determine what the third number on each grid is. I'm like, fuck. Shit. He's like, "Do you have a GPS on you?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Look at it." Oh shit. And that's how the rest of that transmission went. How would it have gone for you though? It would have been like, easy day, you, this is me.
You never
Adjust fire. But I do know because you guys fucking did it. Right? It was you, this is me, adjust fire over. Like, easy day. For me, it was like, more kilo mortars. I need indirect fire. Adjust. Like, if I had known and I was humble, I would have been like, oh yeah, no, that's it. The first time I fucking tried to put a tourniquet on, couldn't fucking do it. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there watching Romo bleed out, and I'm pointing at his easy ass wound right here. I can't remember who, Ramos, I think.
Okay.
They're like handling his legs, and I'm sitting there like obviously like Romo's legs are gone, right? So they're focusing on that, and I'm like, hole, Romo, look at his, and yeah, there was bone sticking out, but that's easy, right? Today it's easy. That's an easy fix. But back then I'm like, look, I'm like, yeah, bandage it. You know what I mean? Like, now I know all of that, but back then I didn't. And that's the life-changing moment, was understanding that I was not as good as I should have been. I could have been better. And I'm not saying like people wouldn't have died or people wouldn't have got blown up, because that's a deep rabbit hole.
Yes.
I'm saying I personally could have affected the battle space a little bit better than I did. And maybe a lot better. Like, I might have caused a lot less issues if Sotelo wasn't telling me what to do. Dude, one time I left the fucking APOPs. We were in a firefight. I dropped the APOPs to fucking return fire.
Is that the backpack that they asked where the hell did it go?
No, that's a different thing.
Okay.
I also lost the backpack. No. I took the backpack off to return fire. This is the day that Booten fired a 203, my 203. Or I asked him if he wanted to. He said no. I took it off, and then I got so heated and into the firefight that I forgot I took it off. Next thing you know, we're fucking patrolling back into this building, and we're setting up support by fire. I'm like, Ryan, shit, I forgot the APOBs. He's like, what? You know, Ryan, he didn't really swear, but he's like disappointed as fuck. He's like, are you fucking serious, dude? Fuck, let's go. And then he took me to go get this APOB across the same fucking area we just were getting fired from. So it's like, if I had realized, I just put two people in danger, myself included, two people in danger, serious danger, because I forgot an APOB, which I wouldn't do now, because that's an easy fucking fix. It's just remember that you had an APOB on you, because it's not a small thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's things like that, man. Just understanding that there's always something you can learn and apply. There's always somebody that's better than you. There's always somebody that you can learn from, and taking what they know and figuring out how to apply it into your everyday. And I think that's the one thing in Afghanistan that sort of was like a revelation. So when I got the opportunity to go back to Fast Company, I was like, dude, I'm jumping on it. And it wasn't because Fast Company was easy. It was because I knew what Fast Company created, and I did everything I could to fucking fix it. And now some of the Marines that are from Fast that I know personally that came from my platoons, dude, there's some of them are fucking studs. And I'd like to say I had something to do with it. I mean, the reality is as sergeants, more of it is on them. Their accomplishments are their accomplishments, not mine. But I'd like to say that their foundation was because I was an asshole, because I drove them to challenge themselves, because I made them hate their lives, because I knew what I was out of Fast Company. It's one of those things, and now, as a staff sergeant, and as a squad leader, dude, I have big shoe prints, big footprints to fill, right? If you think about the squad leaders that we had, right?
Yeah.
Right? Sotelo, Crotch, fucking I mean, for all we think of pain, for all I think of pain.
As much shit as we give him, honestly,
Like,
he did come through from time to time, man.
Dude, pain, like Decker all the dudes that we fucking went through, if I think today, or as a squad leader, was I as good as they were? I don't think so. But I try to be, you know what I mean? I wasn't ever put in a position where I had to fucking take a squad through combat. They were. But am I proficient enough so that I could have? I'd like to think I was. Obviously, I won't know. But dude, those guys are monsters.
Yeah.
Every single one of those guys are something that, like, to this day, I look at my sergeants and I hold them to the crotch standard. I hold them to the Sotelo standard. Like, is that sergeant as good as Sotelo was? Is that sergeant as good as fucking, as good as Payne was? Is that sergeant as good as Crotch was? Right? Is that sergeant capable of doing the same shit that all three, and even Glidden, man, like even Glidden when he was there, are they on par? And it's hard for me to say like, yes. But then it's like, how can I get them there? What can I do to make sure that they're there, right? Sotelo filled sandbags. I know squad leaders today that wouldn't fill sandbags. So every time I see a fucking Lance Corporal PFC police calling, why isn't there a corporal here? Why isn't there a fucking sergeant here? I'm here. I'm police calling. I'm putting up targets. Why isn't there a Lance Corporal or like a senior Lance Corporal? Right? Why isn't there a Lance Corporal that is not a junior Marine police calling? Why is it only PFCs doing this working party? Because you know Sotelo and Crotch were at the working party. Shit, they were fighting for us not to do these working
Exactly.
parties.
So remember.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that like I think staying in Afghanistan made me more humble and more understanding of like, dude, you're not good, or you're not as good as you think you are.
Gotcha, man.
You could be better.
Gotcha. It's awesome, man. It's
Yeah.
honestly awesome. You know what? This kind of off topic, but you know what's one of the greatest moments that I remember, the funniest moments I remember from you,
Huh?
is actually in Afghanistan was when, for years, you had said that you had been trying to give Hanson a piece of pork to eat.
Oh yeah. Dude, I didn't do it.
Yes, you did. You gave him a piece of a Slim Jim. The Slim Jim, because he was eating those beef jerkies, the bags. You threw him the Slim Jim because you go, hey, Rob, you want this? He doesn't think about it. He grabs it. We were about to go on patrol. He took a bite out of it and then.
I remember the exact because I was fucking livid. No,
something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went through boot camp one class before Rob, and then I went through at BSG with Rob.
Okay.
We were in Fast Company together, the same company. Then we went to 1-1 together. Then we went to 3-5 because he was a little bitch and scared. Right? I tried the whole deployment to get him to eat pork.
Yes.
The whole deployment. And then one day, he's eating fucking beef stick, and I'm sitting there like, oh shit, is that the right kind? Stratton
It was him.
threw him the beef. Somebody else, I don't remember, somebody else threw it to him, and he ate it. And I'm sitting there like, are you fucking kidding? Dude, it was not me.
I thought it was you.
No, I made a big fucking deal about it, and that's probably why you remember it. But I was fucking livid because I wasn't the one that got him to eat pork. Yeah, you guys got in a firefight.
Yeah, because when we came back, I remember you saying, oh my God, I killed Rob.
No,
and he was just like,
it was not me.
It was Stratton.
It was somebody. It was Stratton or Jacobs or even dude. It was not me. And I remember
this entire time I thought it was you.
Dude, I was so pissed it wasn't me. Like I tried so hard to get him to eat pork. He didn't do it. Not for me.
Huh.
I'm glad you guys are okay.
Yeah, we're fine. It was a funny day.
But yeah, that not me. Still, I wish it wasn't me. Maybe that might be one of my biggest regrets is that it wasn't me, because he's an asshole.
Oh no, man.
But you know, dude, it's so funny. Like things like this, like the small memories that we have, that like they're what keep me going sometimes, man. So like the first firefight when Rosado threw that star cluster up and like. Because it was like contact no casualties was white star cluster, contact casualties was red star cluster, but a white star cluster kind of gave away our position. But it was still a TTP that we used.
Yes, for some reason.
So somebody's getting shot at, we throw a fucking Rosado throws a white star cluster up. All of a sudden the fire shifts on us. I'm in a cornfield, you guys are in an open field. Rob's on the back side of this open field. I have with me my team, but then Johnson and Catherwood and Lopez are with me for some reason. I'm fucking running, and Rob's like, dude, they need you up there.
How's it going, everyone? Fortunately, we didn't get all the footage that Mario Launder and I recorded. So for that, I want to apologize to Mario and I want to apologize to my viewers. However, we did go over a lot of things, and during that segment, we did hit a lot of emotional moments. For that, again, I'm sorry that I didn't share with you guys, and I didn't have the footage to obviously show you guys. So for that, once again, I am sorry to you and to Mario Launder. So I do want to say that Mario did share that he is doing a lot of things nowadays. However, one thing that he shared with me was that he got very involved with photography. Mario has been doing a lot of footage for a couple companies that are military friendly. He showed me a couple of his pictures and they're actually really good. So I will put his company's name at the bottom of this film. That way you guys can go and check his stuff out and show him some support and follow him as well. So for that, once again, I want to say sorry for not having the entire ending to the podcast. Mario, I apologize once again. So as a learning point, I do want to say that I want to make sure that the videos are getting recorded, as dumb as that sounds. So once again, I do want to apologize to Mario. So again, sorry. And I do want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, thank you for showing some support. For my subscribers, thank you. For those that haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, like my videos, and I look forward to recording more veterans. So until next time, we out.